Welcome back to the channel, you guys. This video is going up on Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to start off. But this video is going to be really short and really simple. I just wanted to do a simple, easy video explaining my approach to doing eyeshadow. Women in my life tell me all the time, they're like, oh, I don't know how to do eyeshadow. How do you do it like that? and I don't know. That has always been confusing to me because I feel like I'm still so new to makeup in general. I started doing makeup in 2021, and I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's strange to me that women who have been doing it, their whole lives, can look at me and be like, "Oh, how do you do that?" I don't know. I just figured it out. The look that I'm going to be doing today is going to be a simple The look that I'm going to be doing today is going to be a simple neutral look using this Glamlight palette. This is the Chocolate Martini palette. Simple, easy, neutral look. We're going to get right into it, but before I start actually applying the shadows, I just want to tell you I do have an eye base on. I have my Sigma eye base. Is that creasing? My lids are stained because I had red eyeshadow on today. I went to the mall with a friend and I wore red eyeshadow and it's stain central, and also it really does look like this is creasing. What is up with that? My eye base is creasing. That's terrible. Whatever. I don't know what's causing that. Maybe the fact that I had eyeshadow on and then washed it off. But I will tell you that having an eye base on is important because it makes the shadows pop more. It makes them stick in place more and hopefully for longer, depending. Looking for the right eye base, you kind of have to experiment with different shadows, I'm trying to show you different shadows and different bases. Some shadows work differently with different bases, so it's all kind of trial and error. But anyway, that's all the talking that I really wanted to do about that. Anyway, I'm going to start with this shade here called Irish Cream, this one here, and I'm going to start throwing it down in my crease. Let me get a mirror. I tried filming this video yesterday and I was interrupted so many times that I had to stop filming, and I got so frustrated. My husband is going to get us dinner, but for some reason he just came back in. I guess he forgot his keys, interrupting me yet again. But I got so frustrated from all the interruptions that I was just like, you know what, I can't even do this. Like, I would start talking about something and then get interrupted and try to come back. And by the way, I'm just taking this up a little bit out here. I like to have it kind of floofed out on the outer part because, we're creating a nice little shadow shape. And if you look at your face with like a light coming from above you, this area here will be shadowed. So it's always good to just go where there would naturally be a shadow and just kind of get a little something going there. Anyway, so I kept getting interrupted, and eventually I was just like every time I would come back to try to film, I'd be like, I don't remember what I was just talking about, but anyway. And I ended up doing that so many times, and I got to the point where I was like, I started talking about something and then got interrupted and had to stop and couldn't remember what I was saying and couldn't get back into the swing of it so many times that I really had no choice but to just give up. And I was so frustrated. Look at how I'm holding this brush. Never in my life have I ever held a brush like that. What is wrong with me? I'm trying to give a tutorial on how to do a simple, easy eye look, and I'm like, hold the brush like this. Don't hold the brush like that. I mean, do whatever is right for you, but that's just not how I do it. Okay, so really simple little crease color. It's very similar to my skin tone. So now we're gonna go in and just deepen up the crease a little bit. What did I use yesterday? Oh, I think I used this. I used the shade All Night. I'm trying to I had like this whole plan for what I was going to do yesterday. Oh, and then that was the other thing. I was putting a deeper shade on. Like I was a few steps into the look and I started putting a deeper shade on. I'm just running this through my crease to deepen it up. I have very deep set eyes, so I like to really define the shape of my eye by deepening the crease. But yeah, so yesterday I went to put on a deeper shadow, and somehow on this eye, a speck or a spot of shadow kind of like popped up, I think off of the brush. I must have moved the brush in such a way that it flicked it up and it was up here. And I was like, what is that? Is that shadow? Is that like a birthmark or something that I never noticed before? And I went to like go like this and it was shadow and it just spread out. And I was like, now I have this crazy smoked out looking thing going on that I did not want, because I wanted this to be super soft and wearable and like an example of like a very super unintimidating eye look that people could look to as like, oh, I can do that. That's not so scary. Oh, by the way, if anything that I'm doing in this video seems like too much for you, you don't have to go back and forth as much as I am in this. I'm just really trying to like build these shadows up so that they appear, you know, on camera and everything. But if you want to skip any of these steps, like if you wanted to skip that first very light shade and just go in with this, you could totally do that, especially if you have a very high quality shadow. You can just blend it out. You know, just take the time to actually blend it out and make it look nice and smooth. How does that look so far? It's good, right? We're like kind of almost there, actually. I'm gonna be super dramatic and add more things to this than you're probably gonna want to, but that's just me. Every time I go in to do a look, I'm always like, how can I use 100,000 different shadows in this one look? It's just a character flaw that I have. Maybe it's not a character flaw. Maybe I just want to use my shadows since I have 700 billion of them. I'm going to take this smaller brush now and I'm going to take this shade. This is a slightly deeper shade called Girls Night. Girls Night Out, actually. Why can't it be Boys Night Out? I'm going to put some of that out here. See, it's like a deeper chocolatey brown, but I'm also actually going to take a little bit in here. Now, normally I wouldn't really do that. This is kind of more like a halo eye situation, and if you don't want to do that, that's fine. I usually like to just keep, you know, from the inner corner into like almost halfway. I usually like to keep that area very, very soft and light. But for the purpose of what I want to do today, I want to accentuate the highlight in the center. And because I'm using the shimmer that I plan on using is more of a softer kind of a metallic rather than like a super sparkly shade, which is my favorite. I'm just gonna kind of make it so that the emphasis is still on the center lid in terms of highlight. So hopefully that makes sense to you. I want the center of my lid to be the brightest spot because I feel like that adds dimension and creates a nice shape. Does that make more sense? As opposed to the absolute diatribe that was my initial attempt at an explanation. Is diatribe the right word? Oh no. I'm derailing the video. Okay, so before I go too nuts, I'm also going to do one shade deeper out here with this shade Dark Chocolate. I'm not gonna go too ham on it. Like that last one, I really just kind of went in. This one, I'm probably going to keep it lower and just kind of do here. Yeah. So you see that shape I'm making? It's almost like a wing. That's just to accentuate the eyelashes. Because when you're doing your eyeshadow, you want to make it look like you have long lashes, right? So keeping that kind of depth out here makes it look like you have nice long lashes. And then doing something like this kind of dramatizes that even more. Forgive my voice. I don't know what the hell is happening with it, but it's like super maximum grumbly right now. Might even kind of like do a little bit of this. Not putting any product on the brush, but just kind of like pulling that darker shade into the very outer part of the crease. How's that look? It looks good, right? I'm gonna take this brush again, and I'm just gonna, this is maybe not necessary, but I'm slightly psycho and I always want to make sure everything's like blended nicely. So I'm just gently flicking the shadows up a little. Okay. So now I'm going to go in with the lid color, which is going to be a shimmer. I want it nice and shiny. If you wanted to stick with this very neutral thing that I have going on, you could definitely stick with a neutral shadow. I was torn between this shade, which is like kind of like a neutrally pink, and it's super sparkly and beautiful. Gosh, I'm still like not 110% sure that that's not what I want. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. This is a blue. This shade, like I was saying before, is more of like a metallic. Oh, it's a little bit purpley too. It's got kind of like a purpley base, and then it like shifts blue. I think, yeah, that's definitely what I want on the center of my lid. I'm probably going to also diffuse it out a little, so it's not going to stick to just the center, but I want the most shine on the center, so I'm taking my brush and putting it down on the center and really packing it on to the middle of the lid. Now I'm, without adding product, gonna just gently blend the edges outward. What do you think of that? Pretty nice, right? I wanted to do the blue because it is a small pop of color, and blue is such a kind of classic shade to throw on the lid. That's like your typical pop of color in any neutral palette. Of course, this particular blue is a little bit more interesting than the ones you might see in, like, I don't know, I don't want to like name brands and be like, oh, those boring brands. But you know, those boring brands. This blue is a little more interesting than the ones you might find in one of those palettes. Those basic B palettes. I'm actually going to go in now and amp up that shimmer even more in the center of my lid with my finger. I'm just going to, you know, just take a little bit on my finger. Don't want to go too nuts. And I'm just going to, is there a way that I can do this so you can really like see right away the payoff? You can also achieve this by spraying your brush with setting spray after you put the shadow on there. But just, I can't see because my eyes are closed, but can you see the difference? Hopefully you can. I don't know. With my eyes closed, I'm like, I don't know what I'm showing. You can see it. You can definitely see it. I'm going to put some on this side again with my finger. And I'm tapping. You see that I'm kind of rubbing it onto the center, but then out here where I don't want it to be as intense, I'm tapping. because I don't want to like just smear it everywhere. I want it to be the brightest in the center. What do you think of that? Do you like it? I think now I just need to do a little something on the lower lash line and the inner corner. So I think on the lower lash line, we're going to keep it simple. I'm going to go in with that all night shade, which was the shade that I deepened the crease with. What brush do I want? I'm going to go in with this super flat, skinny little brush. I'm just going to take it on there. And the reason that I am using such a flat, skinny brush, technically, I think a liner brush. Oh, this says definer, so maybe it's not a liner brush, but it's like a really controlled kind of a brush. No floof, no diffusing. And that's the kind of thing that I like for the lower lash line. I've realized that on me anyway, I don't like the lower lash line to be super smoked out. I just feel like, I don't know if it's because of my dark eyes. Like, if you have super light eyes, blowing out the lower lash line can look really nice. Like, if you've ever seen Avril Lavigne, the way that she does her makeup, it's like super, super dark all around her eyes. It's because she has those bright, beautiful eyes. And when you have those light eyes, you can do that and it works. But for me, I have very brown eyes. And it's not really something that I can pull off. I can't really just like smoke out the lash line and have it look good, because then I just look like, I don't know, a corpse or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hypercritical of my own looks. But yeah, that's all that I'm going to do down there. Nice and tight to the lash line. Not too crazy. Did I pull it out? I do like to make it just a little bit thicker out here, but just a tiny little bit. It kind of creates like a, I guess like an almond shape, would you call it? Just kind of elongates the eyes a little bit. My eyes are super duper round, which is not a bad thing, but I kind of try to like, just trying to make sure that I don't have any of the multi-chrome that I used earlier in my inner corner in this brush. But this is just a tiny little, ooh, what do I want in my inner corner? So the lightest shade in this palette is this one here, but it shifts very yellow. It's like white to yellow. Let me go see if I have something else that I could throw on my inner corner that goes a little bit better with this kind of purpley blue thing that I have going on. I don't know if I sat back down in the same spot or if I'm like slightly off, but I went and got the all amethyst palette from ColourPop, and I'm going to use this beautiful shade right here as my inner corner highlight. And as I'm doing this, I just want to say, don't be afraid to try different things with eyeshadow. That's another thing that I feel like a lot of women kind of express that fear to me of like, oh, I can't use this color, or I can't pull off those tones, or like I'm only comfortable with using these things. And it's like, honestly, just experiment. I feel like there's no such thing as, oh, I can't use that. Oh, I can't be more colorful. Or, oh, I can't use that particular color. So, I applied this to the inner corner as a highlight. You can also use a light matte, but obviously you just want to keep your inner corner nice and light and soft, because it makes the eyes look more like open and kind of doe-eye-ish. Maybe not doe-eye, but it makes you look more like awake. And then you might have seen me kind of taking it up this way sometimes I do that where I'll take the inner corner highlight and I'll just kind of drag it up a little bit. I don't know, I just feel like that works for my eye shape and the looks that I do. So, but some people use less in their inner corner, and I have done that too, where I'll just take an even smaller brush and just put the tiniest little bit of an inner corner highlight. That looks good too. But usually I like to go with this slightly more dramatic kind of a thing. And wasn't this shade perfect for that? Like, isn't it beautiful? Thank you, ColourPop. That's another thing too. Like, don't be afraid to grab different palettes. Like, do whatever you need to make your look turn out the way that you want it to. So, I think that that's it for the tutorial. I hope that you took something from this. If you're like me and you watch a lot of makeup YouTube, you've probably seen all this stuff before, right? But like, this is just my approach to doing these kinds of things. This video is kind of intended for just people that I know, and the people that I know who feel intimidated by the idea of doing something like this. But like for me, this is super simple and neutral. So, I don't know. It's not that scary. Just take your time. And another thing is you just have to know what flatters your eye shape. Watch people on YouTube whose eye shape is similar to yours. Like, I know. When I first started getting into makeup, I was watching a couple different Asian girls. Eye makeup looks so beautiful on Asian girls because of the shape of their eyes and the things that they can do, but that doesn't work for me. I wish that it did, but it doesn't work for me because my eyes are a completely different shape. Another thing that I have to take into account is where my eyebrows are. They come down, they're very low. I'm a guy. So I'm not like tweezing my eyebrows or plucking my eyebrows or waxing my eyebrows and reshaping them. You know, they're just kind of like there, and I don't really have much options, so I have to kind of figure out how to make it work with them there doing their thing. Yeah, I guess that's it though in terms of like tips and things. Hopefully you gathered something from this. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions or anything, or if anything that I did in this video confused you more and you're like, well, what the hell? If you are new here, I upload every Sunday and every Wednesday, so you should totally subscribe for more fun content. My channel has been at such a standstill with growth. I don't know what that's about, but hopefully you'll subscribe, like the video, comment. That always helps. I will be seeing you guys again on Wednesday. Have a great week. Peace.